welcome to Chatterbox,
the monthly community arts show that's for the community, by the community.
My name is Aisha Kamara.
And I'm Vuli Mkunanzi.
On tonight's episode, we will be talking about one of the most important living things surrounding us.
Aisha, that sounds kind of crazy. What is that?
I'm talking about the environment, which is our theme for this episode.
Of course. First up, we're going to be talking to Miranda Gibson, who spent more than 150 days up a tree in protest.
That woman is my inspiration. We'll also be talking to Tom Pappas, the creative director of 48-Hour Echo Film Challenge.
And of course, we'll have our regular segments, Reel to Reel with Armin and Ben, and the Bulletin Box with Andy.
But for now, let's just go ahead and get vivid.
Like this top?
No, silly, I'm talking about the Vivid Festival that deals with light, music and ideas.
That's right. Every single year in Sydney, musicians, creators and artists alike gather in Sydney, 400,000 people. It's going to be amazing.
Let's find out how this year goes with Lisa, who is out there to interview Jess Scully, the creative director.
Over to you, Lisa.
Well, hello, Vuli and Aisha. We're down at Vivid Festival on Sydney Harbour, and as you can see, there are lights going on, there are families everywhere, there are more cameras than Dick Smith. It's quite an amazing feat. So this month we're talking about the environment, and what Vivid does as a festival is inspires audiences to think differently about their environment and how important the natural environment is, and to reflect on it, particularly young people. Tonight we're going to meet some of the artists who are responsible for making some of the fantastic light installations that you can see all across the harbour, and we're also going to meet the lady behind the ideas. I'm here at the MCA at the Vivid Ideas Lounge, and I'm here with the gorgeous Jess Scully, who is Festival Director of Vivid Ideas. Welcome, Jess.
Hi, Lisa. It's great to be here.
I reckon Jess could probably light up the whole of Vivid. Are you on the grid?
Send to the mains.
I thought so. She's got so much energy. Jess, Chatterbox this month is all about environment. So can you tell us about the creative environment that you're generating down here at Vivid Ideas?
Well, I think the exciting thing about Vivid Sydney is that it transforms the way that we see Sydney and the way that we experience winter in Sydney in particular. We tend to hibernate in Sydney and we kind of lock ourselves away, even though it's quite mild and lovely out there.
It's beautiful.
It is beautiful. And so while the city transforms the streets and the harbour with lights, up here at Vivid Ideas, we're kind of trying to transform the way people perceive the creative industries and perceive these events, and make it all really accessible, open, friendly, and a space that isn't about competition but about collaboration.
There's so many families come down to the Vivid Festival. I mean, it's a really extraordinary event for families, isn't it? And people don't just come from Sydney, Western Sydney and New South Wales, they come from all around the country. And so for families to know that there's something for their children to engage with, and
absolutely.
You want to ignite their imagination, don't you?
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
Really special. Yeah.
Every time we design an installation, I always make sure that kids are allowed to touch it and play with it without hurting themselves, so that's sort of my input.
We had to come up with a way, or trying to tell a story of the concept subversion, and we tried to think of ways of creating objects in the water that you might not expect to see in there.
What did you think?
Amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Why did it excite you?
The flight make the Sydney more flexible, relaxable, and more happy for me or even all the Sydney people.
Oh,
This is my first year be here.
Okay, so here we are down Circular Quay with the three geniuses who created Snake the Planet. It's very exciting to see it in action. I wondered if you, one of you could tell me about how does it work? I saw you fiddling around with the iPad, mapping things on the wall behind me.
Basically, we've made an application where we can basically cruise around and take a photo of the wall, and the application can automatically detect the edges of the projector to calculate kind of the distortion of the angle of the projection. And then within that image, we're then able to isolate elements in the photo to become obstacles. So behind us in this case, we've got kind of a door and a little kind of red box, whatever that is. And sometimes it's people's silhouettes or shadow puppets or bins or whatever happens to be there at the time. And then once the level's mapped, it basically just kicks straight into the game.
I am here with two of the most excited, Vivid audiences I think I've ever experienced. What are your names, and tell me more about why you came down tonight?
I'm Jess.
And I'm Caitlin. And Yeah. Well, I've never been to Vivid before.
And
so,
I've been every year since I was a tiny little kid.
So yeah, I just wanted to come see it, come experience it.
The excitement, the hype, the lights, just the atmospheres are brilliant.
Does it change does it change the environment for you around the harbour, and in what way?
Definitely. Oh, it's just more exciting, I guess, and I don't know, all the lights and all the colour.
You feel like you're a great part of the city. You just feel like a Sydneyan.
Yeah.
Sydneyan?
Yes. I invented a new word. Creative, huh?
And you played the game?
Yes.
So what did you think about that?
It is
really
fantastic. It's really competitive, and it's great when you've actually seen the things. You know, there's a door and there's people's shapes, and it's great just playing around it. It gives it such a more live and an atmosphere to it.
Beautiful. Well, thank you very much,
Thank
both
you.
of you.
Thank you.
You've been an excellent audience.
We've had a fantastic night here tonight. We've met lots of exciting people. We've spoken to lots of families. Back to you in the studio, Willie and Aisha.
Wow, the Vivid Festival really seems to light up Sydney. But where could you find out more?
You can always go to vividsydney.com.
You know what? I'm definitely doing that.
So, Volley, I've been meaning to ask you this question.
Yeah.
If you were to direct this show, how would you shoot it?
How would I shoot it? Why would I want to shoot it? I love this show. I don't want to go shooting it. This is about the environment and peace and stuff, isn't it?
So cool. I always knew he was going to be talking about guns. I am talking about shot sizes. How would you film it? Would you go close up, medium, or long shot?
Hey, Aisha, you know, I have no idea about shots.
Oh, poor thing. Not to worry, because we've got Ben and Amin who are coming right now to teach us about shot sizes.
Awesome. Over to you guys. Real
To real.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Reel to Reel. This month, we're talking about shot sizes. My name's Ben.
And I'm Amin.
And right now, we're in a mid-shot. So
Yeah.
why do we use mid-shots, Amin?
I think it's the most commonly used shot size. Probably you will go with this shot to cover the scene. Mainly, it's not too far away, so we see a lot of detail in the shot, but also it's not too intimate. So that's why for the most of the scene we use this size.
That's right. What shot selection is all about is coverage of the scene. And the mid-shot is always the safest. It's like third gear in a car. You can, once you get the coverage, then you can start exploring other shot sizes like the close-up.
This is a close-up. You might want to use this when you're trying to introduce your main character or create a closer interaction with the audience and your main character. However, I think you need to be careful about how you use your close-ups. If you end up using a lot of close-ups, your audience might feel quite claustrophobic, or they get confused about who the main character is or who they're following in that story. Whatever is closer than a close-up is referred to as an extreme close-up. We use this to show twitching of an eye or a lip, mainly to create a sense of intimacy, and also if you want to show what your character is going through emotionally, we use extreme close-ups.
Okay, what you're looking at right now is called a wide shot. Now, we use a wide shot when we want to show the whole spatial dynamic of the scene. So we're going to pick up all the objects. If there's a mountain range or a lake behind them, we're getting all the grounds clearly for the audience to understand what they're about to see when we then decide to cut into our close-ups and our mid-shots. Okay, and now this is what we call a long shot. As you can see, we're picking up just below the feet and we're stopping it just above the head. Now, this is often used as the master shot because it allows us then to cut back to all our close-ups and our mid-shots.
Yep. Well, it has enough detail, it shows enough detail of the characters, the scene, and also we call it a master shot because it covers the entire movement and the action within the scene. It can be used in the editing room as a reference for us to cut to our mids and close-ups.
And we cut back to our ever-reliable, trusty mid-shot. That's it from us. You've been watching Reel to Reel, and next month on Reel to Reel,
we're going to have panning, tilt, and tracking shots.
So we'll be bringing out the dollies, and no, it's got nothing to do with Barbie.